Alabama AD Greg Byrne, with his suggestion that teams that storm the field or court have to forfeit that game. Is that reality, or is he serious about that? And luckily,
he's not, though, right?
I knew enough to answer. I was like, no, I don't think he is. I think this is just one of those things you say, and let's work to find a solution to this.
I haven't heard anything about that. Have you heard anything about this?
Yeah.
I've heard that it has been tossed out as an option.
Right.
I did not know Greg was on board with it until yesterday.
And I figure, if I'm trying to sell my home, you always start with this huge price, right? I'm going to say this, and if I get this, I'm going to be really happy. But $600,000. If I get $450,000, I'll sell it.
But sticker shock, you can freak people out, and to me, that is the ultimate sticker shock. These guys are going to go out there and bust their ass for 40 minutes, and they're going to win a hell of a game against obviously a really good team. And then because of a bunch of 18, 19-year-old, I don't know, maybe drunk kids run out there, then they're going to take the win away? Yeah. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
And I said, I think this is just to draw attention to what is an issue because
tase them. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Do you know how many people are rushing the field?
We wouldn't have enough tasers.
Or look, back up, get everybody off, and then tear gas them or something.
Tear gas them, yeah.
They've got the big tasers that are like you set it up on a tripod,
right?
And they shoot like 100 of them in a straight line.
And Tyler, that will be no bad optics at all for the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, you know what? At that point, I pull for a court storm every night.
Just to see people
I would even go to Coleman or Neville, and I would sit up in the rafters and watch.
Yeah.
Now, to Greg's point, and I brought this up, I said, if you're an Alabama football fan, you've got PTSD. I mean, every loss in recent years has been a field storming.
That's right.
Right? Because of Nick Saban and where Alabama's been. You've experienced a lot of them in the last decade if you're an Alabama fan on the road. So, and Alabama doesn't storm football fields, which is an interesting question about Saturday coming up a little bit later on. But they don't storm football fields. That's been a tradition, an unwritten rule. I don't know. But I'm always amazed at how there are not more violent Jermaine Burton situations. He sort of shoved that girl down.
Byron Halt and LeGarrette Blount. Now, that was player on player, but
I brought that one up, but that was a, post situation on the road. How is there not more of this? This is what Greg Byrne is saying, because you see what happens. Like even at, what was the last one that I saw? I think it was Vanderbilt, the second one. After the first one, who they beat first, Tennessee or Kentucky? Whoever they beat.
In basketball. Sorry, I was thinking football.
Kentucky was the second one.
Kentucky was, I think Tennessee was the first one.
Tennessee was the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
So they all those yellow jacket guys went and lined up over there with some police officers in front of the student section as they were beating Kentucky. They're lined up. They look like they're going to stop them. Once that thing hit buzzer, you know what those people did? They let them run right by them. Nobody tackled anybody. Nope. Nobody tripped anybody.
But can you blame them?
They're
probably scared to death that they'll get sued.
Yeah,
but
what else is
everything's on video?
What else is it? It's an advertisement for Vanderbilt basketball.
There's no doubt.
Point, or for Tennessee football, or for Auburn football. It's on SportsCenter. It's that great iconic photo that you get of you can put on your programs. You can hang paintings. You can do all of it.
Well,
so other schools use it as sort of an advertising moment that they beat you, and look at how much fun we're having. They're not going to keep them off the freaking field tonight, man.
Yeah.
And that's an advertisement for the school and the program.
Yeah, that Auburn-Texas A&M game where Auburn rushed the football field. It's not basketball, it's football, obviously. Earlier this year, right?
Right.
And I remember talking to, was it Texas A&M? Who was it Auburn rushed the field against? At the,
it was Elko, I believe, A&M, before A&M went and played Texas. It was Auburn's last home game.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was their last chance.
Yeah, that's right. And I was talking to a guy I know, and he's got kids at school at Auburn, and he was telling me that now he didn't say this, but numerous Auburn parents told him, I was so glad Auburn won that game because so-and-so finally got their field rush moment. Yeah. That was the phrase they used.
Oh, wow.
Their field rush moment. Yeah. Like, when you enroll at school at Auburn, you go to chemistry, you roll Toomer's Corner, you get a lemonade while you're there, you eat some Brunswick stew at Byron's Smokehouse, and you rush the field for a big win. That's like part of the school experience. Literally, and one of them said, I felt so bad for her because her sister got her field rush moment and whichever Iron Bowl it was, and she didn't get one.
Never
I
heard
was
of
like,
this. I never
I
had a
didn't
field
either.
rush moment. I never wanted to rush the field or the court.
I mean, this is what you want, man.
No, that's it.
I want that college moment, man. I'm on the field. I'm on the court.
But my point in bringing that up is not, Auburn fans can do it however they want to. I don't really care. But it has become like this rite of passage for a lot of college students.
I remember when I was leaving Neyland for the Alabama game, and kids were coming back inside of the stadium after they had already left. Hey, we're rushing the field. And you could hear them talking.
Yeah,
like there was this buzz that was building. But I already thought it was a kick to the junk when you're already paying your rival 6 figures for NIL.
Yeah,
I mean that's
but students don't think one moment about that. The institution does. And for all people to be upset about this, Greg Byrne, nobody would have benefited more from that rule than Alabama.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened really.
Yeah, it was too late for them, but their NIL would have been packed in the Saban years because anybody that beat Alabama rushed the field.
Yeah.
But it has become part of the culture of college sports. Like I saw Sankey say, it would help us if ESPN didn't show it, maybe.
Yeah, it's exactly right. But they're going to show it.
How is ESPN not going to show that? Like
they lead with it, Brown. That's why people do it.
It's the first thing a sports center.
Yeah.
So it has become ingrained in the culture of college athletics. I personally do not believe there is anything you can do to get rid of it. They can do all this stuff they want. I believe we are the train has left the station, the horse is out of the barn, whatever phrase you want to use. We are way too far down this road for you to fix this.
I agree.
I just don't. There's nothing you can do about it. There is nothing.
And I think what you would call is internal chaos. You would have some guys that just want to have their field rush moment that maybe don't really care about the game.
Yeah.
And then you've got some like diehards. You heard Reese Davis said, hey, me and friends used to travel to Alabama games back in the day. You would have those, hey, if you run out of the court, I'm going to whip your ass.
That's right. And then you would have the former Ranger or former Marine that's in charge of security, and they're going to be tackling somebody trying to get on the field. It becomes and that's why the security is. Like this past year at Tennessee, when I was up there, I actually heard I was in the tunnel as they were coaching up the security people. They're like, okay, stand in front of them and stuff, but if they start rushing, don't tackle anybody because we don't want to be responsible if anyone gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is if I'm a security guard, what do you think those old boys are making standing there for?
Let's just say $100.
$100 per game. That's probably a good day for them.
Yeah.
If I'm making $100 and there's 10 students running at me.
Oh, I'd rather plunge a toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to register in my mind, right?
I brought it up this year. One kid took his off. Taylor will back me up on this. One kid took his yellow blazer off and ran on out there with him. He was a student.
Did he just dropped it?
He was just
Did
like,
he really?
Yeah, I'm going to the other side.
Yeah.
I guess he's not working again.
Yeah. But I mean, that's my whole.
Who knows?
That's my whole point. Is like that guy's making $100. If that, it's probably not that. He's making $100, and it's registering in his mind. Am I really going to tackle these 10 students for $100?
Yeah. And you can't redesign every stadium. I made a point this morning. Jordan-Hare Stadium is actually, the way it's designed, one of the best places for the visiting team to get the field rushed on them.
Yeah, you're going away.
The student section's on that end.
Yep.
They're rushing in from that end. Your locker room is this way.
Under your fans.
That's but right. Also it's on your side of the field. You don't even have to leave your bench. You just go at the end of your bench, through your cheerleaders, through that small tunnel. A bigger gate to help you get out faster would help. But it's actually, of all the designs in college football, Jordan-Hare Stadium is actually set up really good to let the Auburn folks rush on, and you just walk out. Really the best way to do it is the way Clemson does it. You just let them on the field after every game, and it's really not a rush anymore. It's a casual walk down.
That's right. Everybody's
pat
used
everybody
to
on the back, and good old ACC afternoon.
So outside of the sticker shock, I mean, Greg's not serious though, right? Like, have you heard him argue his point on why this should be done?
I have not heard him argue it. I saw a passing headline and then got sideswiped with it this morning. I just know
it's probably Cannell taking a shot at the SEC. Right?
He's been the recipient of it. I think Dusty brought it up this morning. It brings up an interesting question. I don't know what the rule is for Alabama fans. Help me out, chat room, about basketball. Like if Alabama beat Auburn, number one Auburn this weekend, anywhere else in the country, if number one got beat, the court would be rushed. They don't rush it in Tuscaloosa for basketball
The
either.
only time I can remember for sure was that Florida win, the Petway putback. But that was as much the way the game ended. It was such a spectacular ending.
Right.
I think that factors into it. Are you asking me, do I think Alabama
And
students...
that was regular season championship.
Yeah,
right?
Alabama locked down the regular season SEC. If you're asking me, Dunaway, do I think Alabama students will rush the court if Alabama beats Auburn? No, I do not, if that's your question. Was that your question,
I don't think
sir?
so. Now, again, they come back from 12 down and, under 3 minutes. They hit a walk-off shot to win the game. I could see something like that.
If it's like some sort of spectacular, crazy ending and a game of the century type deal, maybe.
Yeah, maybe goes to multiple overtimes, 2-3 overtimes.
Yeah, but if it's just a win, just a normal win in 1 versus 2, no, I do not think so.
Here is Greg Byrne's quote. I truly believe in forfeiting wins. If we said that the home team, if they storm the field or the court, they're going to lose that game right then and there, that will stop it.
I don't think he's right.
I think he's off, and I think it's actually – look, I love Greg. Great dude. He's done a lot for the university, but I think that makes no sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's on ESPN.com. They're talking about it. It's in the chat room. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
But I think it is one of those, and obviously Greg Sankey's very serious about it, and with the Alabama AD saying that, it's one of those things that moves to the forefront. But the problem is, I think I have the Sam Pittman quote here as well. You get Sam Pittman, who's the sitting football coach, to Holly Rowe, yes, this year when Arkansas beat Tennessee 19-14. That's 2 field rushes now. I think the AD's going to be mad. Maybe he won't be, but right now I don't care. Sam Pittman to Holly Rowe.
That's right. I don't care.
With him rushing. The head coach saying,
That's right.
I don't care.
Yeah, we just cut a check to Tennessee. I don't care.
Well, I mean, what you want, and Nick Saban, when Alabama fans would get complacent, the one thing that he hated was, looking up and seeing empty seats because people had already gone to the bars and back to tailgates. Like, there is something, I guess, Sam Pittman, about keeping those fans energized in that building, in that stadium. And, if they rush it, so be it.
Yeah.
I mean, has anybody gotten killed with this? I mean, I know that's going to be
No, but see, we've brought this up before. Like,
Goalpost has
I don't know. I mean,
so.
obviously over in
Paralyzed?
Europe, they do it a little different because they bring, pyrotechnics into the
they
mix.
got the big fences up at the European soccer, don't they? Tyler, you're a big soccer guy.
Yeah, they have to separate fans.
But they've got the fence. You can't get on the field, can you? At some places. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just visitor
At some
seats.
places you can't, but there's also people who make a living out of rushing the fields and kind of like just streaking and doing stupid stuff.
I mean, that's one way to make a living, I guess. But
Mystery box is another, right?
that's true. Sometimes they coincide. You get you get a situation too, though. Like, and you saw this done away in Knoxville back in what was that? 2022.
22.
Back in Knoxville in 22, that's a big brick wall at the bottom of that student section. And at the end of that game, the students are moving forward. If you're standing there trying to keep them off, the people on those front rows are getting crushed up against a brick wall.
Yeah. You'd have a little bit of that in Tuscaloosa, too, that big drop down to the...
in Auburn, anywhere, there's walls at the front of all these student sections. And if the students are pressing forward and you're keeping them in the student section, now you've created just as, maybe not just as dangerous a situation, but another dangerous situation.
But again, I mean, $500,000, maybe you don't stop it from going up there. Maybe you let it keep going. Maybe you don't cap it out at $500,000. And if you're Greg Byrne at Alabama or whomever, I would make it known that I would say this. Here's Tennessee coming over.
Look at that brick wall. Imagine if look at the press. Imagine if you're stopping kids from jumping over. What's going to happen to the front couple rows of kids?
Yeah. By the way, 3 Tennessee players, students this year, I saw on stretchers leaving. They heard either got pressed up against it or they blew an ankle or knee jumping. That small little jump there. Because you're not designed. You don't wear athletic gear. If you're a young lady, you're in heels and boots and stuff.
You're really not prepared for that.
Not prepared for the obstacle course to get out there.
I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah.
When Lance hits the brakes, sometimes I always wonder,
what's he gonna say?
What was he gonna say?
Yeah, I just I don't know what you can do. But if I was Greg Byrne, I would say this. I would say if Tennessee this past year ended up paying Alabama $500,000, I would have my $500,000 athlete. I would promote it. I'd be like, Keelan Russell The only way Alabama got him to flip from SMU
Is when we went into Neyland and whipped their ass.
was $500,000 NIL right here that we got from the University of Tennessee. So thank you, Tennessee, for getting us this 5-star quarterback.
What if you did it at the next home game, like if that were the penalty? So Tennessee rushes the field against Alabama there. The next week they're hosting South Carolina, and Greg Byrne comes up, and right before the game, right before kick, they walk out one of those big golf tournament checks. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Byrne is here to accept the $500,000 we're paying Alabama's NIL.
Tennessee AD has to come in.
I don't think it softens the blow for the loss, though,
They
does it?
shake hands and make a picture.
Yeah, it's a made for TV moment that has just gotten bigger over the years.